Although the title should say it all, this is not a list of the top 10 cards from Dawn of Majesty. This is a list of cards that I like. And before someone asks, I am not doing a video on the top 10 cards of Dawn of Majesty because I don't give a shit about doing that.
Just so we're clear.
Albion, the Shrouded Dragon, is treated as fallen of Valbaz while on the field of graveyard, so you can use him in place of the original for his fusions if you really care about that shit. But I mostly care about his actual effect. If he's in the graveyard and you pitch Branded in white, Bond, Judgment, or Screams from your hand to summon him, you can set them during the end phase because he counts as Albaz. Or if you send a card from your deck to the graveyard, you instead put him on the bottom of your deck, then draw a card. I think that's cool as a motherfucker. Stardust Synchron can be searched with tuning and can be summoned with Junk Speeder. I don't care about triggering a monster to special summon it or the fact that it has
synergy.
With Stardust Trail, I care that it's a Synchron that actually does something when summoned with Junk Speeder, although Stardust Trail alongside Stardust Synchron makes summoning Shooting Majestic just a little bit easier. Dino Wrestler Guano Draka took long enough for this motherfucker to get imported. It's not good, but it's a Dino Wrestler that special summons himself and can bring one back in the same turn by tributing himself, which does trigger Stegosaur, and that's cool, but the only Dino Wrestler that truly matters is Pankratops.
Clearly! No debating!
Dimer Synthesis supports Chemic Critters. No, I'm not a fan of them because they're Gemini monsters and Gemini monsters fucking suck. However, being able to search Catalyst Field is cool and does give you a Chemic Critter to banish for burnout. But I feel like we should have been able to search all 3 cards on one effect because none of these cards are good enough to justify their own separate search effects since you have to go through hoops and hurdles, Olympics to do anything remotely interesting. Tendangle Jarrell special summons itself while also dumping Intruder, which brings itself back if a monster special summon face down.
Ass first!
But you can't bring back Intruder if you sent it from your deck to the graveyard. You have to discard it from your hand. That's what the ruling says. But you can discard those, dump Intruder, then activate those effect to summon Intruder afterwards. It's the best Tendangle by a whole lot, with those at a close second, but there wasn't exactly a high bar. And last but certainly not least, Glacial Aquamador.
Psych!
Fuck that motherfucker. It's actually Amazement Assistant Delia. Her looking like Comica isn't really important. It's mainly her effect, but don't get it fucked up. I like how she looks. Being able to swap an attraction trap you don't need for one you do and revealing the same trap in your hand you intend to pitch to special summon her is great shit because I have no idea why you want to give your opponent extra information. The best thing about Amazement are the traps. I know. And I know Delia isn't worth playing. Arlecchino is the only monster worth the shit, but that don't change the fact I like the bitch. I know I said this at the very beginning of the video, so what, I'm saying it again. This video is about cards from Dawn of Majesty that I like, not some objective, but not really objective. It's still subjective as a motherfucker top 10 list. I don't give a shit about doing a list like that. It's about cards that I like. Me. Thanks for watching. My Patreon, Cashapp, Venmo, PayPal's in the description, and so is my Discord server link. Now let's get to this shit.
What's the question?
Opinion on floodgates. They suck when you have to play against them, but they're also necessary. Because I'd rather have floodgates than have my opponent do whatever the fuck they want. Do you feel in the future teaching about this card game to your son or daughter if you have one? And how will you react if they want to follow your footsteps? I am not too inclined to teach my son or daughter if I have them Yu-Gi-Oh! But if they just happen to want to be interested in it, I guess I'll teach them. And if they just so happen to want to follow in my footsteps of all motherfuckers, but I understand I'd be their father, I'd support them. What's your message to all people struggling right now? I understand while struggling, you mainly focus on you struggling and not other people, but that would more or less be the message. You're not the only one that struggles. You know those people that seem like they got everything figured out? They struggle. Everybody in this motherfucker struggles, including me. I feel like struggle is kind of a reminder that, bitch, you not special, and that also depends if you consider what you're going through struggle. Will you do more reviews on structure decks? Sure. Why not? I was intending to do that anyway, but it's nice to have people verbalize that they like them. Has there ever been a time where you had to do a video multiple times due to issues? Yup. And if so, what were those issues? I think I've been pretty good with alleviating those particular issues, but one in particular, I guess as of this year, was Camo Fright. Now, I thought it was much worse than it actually was, but before I uploaded it, I saw somebody else's video or whatever the fuck, and then I saw, oh shit, this is a lot better than I thought it was. Now, the context in which I was talking about the card changed. So I pretty much scrapped the whole video and did it another day. I was like, fuck this shit, I'm doing it tomorrow. That's pretty much the only recent example, but that hasn't happened in like years. The only time I really have to do a video over is if the context in which the card I'm talking about completely changes because I misread the motherfucker. Pretty much. Hashtag what's the question? Appreciate the fuck out of y'all. And you know this, man.